beautiful, you're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours, it's yours. You can have it all, yeah. Up early this morning, and I know God smiled on me. Ain't no time to sleep, no, no. I can't wait to start my day because I know it's gonna be beautiful like me. Hey, you're so beautiful, you're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours, it's yours. You can have it all, yeah. Hey, you're so beautiful, you're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours, it's yours. You can have it all, yeah. I look into my mirror, I love everything I see. Ain't no mistakes on me, no. I always remind myself there ain't no other me. Can't nobody else be. Hey, you're so beautiful, you're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours, it's yours. You can have it all, yeah. You can have it all, yeah. Hey you, hey you, hey you, hey you, hey you. Hey you, you're so beautiful, you're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours, it's yours. You can have it all, yeah. Hey you. You can have it all, yeah.
Hello, family, and welcome to this week's edition of Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Radio. So we're happy and grateful to be here today. I wish you good and positive vibes wherever you are tuning into us from all around the world. I first want to start off by saying thank you. The Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Facebook page is now almost at 10,000 followers. So I thank you for all your engagement, your following, your shares, all the messages and content ideas that you always send my way. So we're right in the middle of a heat wave here in Philly, so everybody try and stay cool as much as you can. It's looking like it's going to be in the high 90s till at least next week. So make sure we're hydrating and that we're eating lots of fresh fruit, vegetables, long-acting sugars. So, if that power goes out, we had quite a thunderstorm here yesterday. There's nothing worse than if you lose your power when it's intensely hot or intensely cold. So just make sure we're charging up our devices. We have our candles, we have our water and everything. So starting off talking about entertainment news that everybody's been buzzing about this week. So sadly to report this story. So Tamar Braxton, who of course is one of Toni Braxton's sisters, co-star of the long-running reality TV show Braxton Family Values, and she's had a couple spin-offs and her own reality show. She just had one that debuted in May. It was something about hairdressers, and now she's launching another reality show that just started, and a YouTube show. So she had posted a post on her social media, basically seeming like she was stepping away from things, and she was depressed, and people were concerned, and her management had just released a statement a couple hours or a day later saying that Tamara had a pretty rough day and that more things will be released. And then later on, I believe it was the day after that, it came out in the press that Tamara had apparently been found by her boyfriend at their hotel residence, the Ritz-Carlton in L.A., and she had been found apparently unresponsive from, apparently they're saying, from a pill overdose. So she was rushed to the hospital. Monday, it was released from her team that Tamara was transferred to a treatment facility, which is going to be there for a while while they figure out what kind of help she needs, and they get her aftercare a plan going. They haven't released much more details, which I feel is best anyway, because whatever things you're going through, the public isn't entitled to know every nuance of your life just because you're a public figure, and people deserve and need privacy and respect to work through whatever it is that they're working through. And then, of course, Nick Cannon had made some statements after the backlash from the statements he had made on his podcast that we talked about in last week's show, where he got dumped by Viacom. And there's talks that Oprah and Puffy's TV network, Revolt TV, might be picking him up. But he apparently got very depressed and suicidal because when he was apologizing, and he makes posts about this on his social media now too, when he was apologizing to the Jewish community for the statements that he had made that had come off anti-Semitic, though he had said that that wasn't his intention, that apparently, I mean, I wasn't following every nuance of this every single day, but based on the things that he had said on his social media, apparently a lot of his African-American following were coming at him and angry that he had apologized for making previous statements that were viewed as anti-Semitic. So
everybody had to apologize.
So then he got so upset and depressed that he was being attacked. You're right. You know, he's attacked for the comments he made. Then he's attacked for apologizing because he's saying he didn't want to offend anybody. So he got so upset that he was considering committing suicide. So he was able to pull himself out of that. But then one of his close friends, this artist that he was mentoring, apparently did commit suicide, which kind of like knocked him off as a little whoa, wait a minute. So,
now that's when they come really for like
exactly. And I think a lot of times we just think that because these celebs are wealthy and they have access to all these things, and once you reach a certain level of success, or you can get whatever you want, and this and that and so forth. But you have to look at it from another point of view. First of all, regardless of what you actually do in this world, how much you do or don't have, we're all human beings, and everybody has depression, anxiety. Everybody has their own battle with self-esteem, wondering if the people around them really care about them, what people's intentions are, can they relax, can they be their authentic self. And in one way or another, we all have pressure that we have to deal with. Then layering on another layer. So if the main way that you make your way of living and where you draw your sense of purpose, self-esteem, and value is because for many of us, our sense of purpose and worth is tied into what we do. Well, if that is from being creative, entertaining people, and you find your emotional fulfillment from being able to touch people, have that face-to-face interaction, see joy on people's face, and that energy exchange. And then because of COVID and quarantining and the world we all, whatever our professions are right now, we're all pivoting and trying to find ways to do the same things that we did before, but in a different way. Fashion designers, right now they can't do fashion shows. They have to do their photo shoots with all the social distancing, all these things that you took for granted if you were a creative person or someone in the arts or entertainment. Now you have to think, geez, how do I still do the things I love to do that bring me joy, my release, and be safe? So, yeah, I know we're all in our own little orb here, but you have to think all the entertainers out there, they find joy from entertaining people. And the Instagram lives and the virtual things are fine, but for entertainers, what gives them life and joy is actually being able to interact with people in person, film, act, to do all these things that right now they're not allowed to do for safety reasons. So you have to think about it that there are a lot of entertainers out there right now who are very depressed, who are having anxiety. Like all of us, they're wondering, well, this is the main way I make my livelihood. So if I can't act, I can't be on sets, I can't shoot my TV show, I can't do a rehearsal, I can't do a tour. I was counting on the money from that project, but that's on hold. I was counting on the money from this thing, but that's on hold because of social distancing and safety. So there are a lot of celebrities you figure right now who are really depressed. So I think this is a time where we really have to just be even more thoughtful of each other. Just because someone's a celebrity doesn't mean that they're not battling with the same fears and worries and anxiety that, quote, non-famous people are. This is a time where if you have creatives in your circle, where you should really be checking on them. Are they okay? Because a fashion designer, you can sell things online and whatnot, but a large part of what brings them joy, or a singer or an actress, is being able to share that art in a collective way with other people. Art, any form of art, is an interactive medium. So hey Mar, so let's make sure that we're really checking in on our artist friends, because that too, with music, fashion, visual arts, their medium comes from the inspiration that they draw from other people. And if a large part of that inspiration is cut off because we can't engage with each other in the ways we always have pre-COVID, that's going to lead to a lot of people being depressed. So I hope that Tamar gets the help and rest and time to restore, and depression, anxiety, suicide, no matter who you are and what you do, that's not something to belittle or make fun of, because we've all been in places and times in one degree or another where we were just so hurt and distraught by all the things going on in our lives outside of our control. Where we've thought of those things or maybe come close. So I've said this many times, but I'll say it again. With everything that's going on in this world right now, this is the time where even more so than before, where we all need to step up and be checking in on the people around us and actually really being there with sincerity and caring about each other's well-being and checking in. So now in other entertainment news, you may remember that about, I think it was 6, 7, 8 months ago that Monique was in contract negotiations with Netflix to get her own comedy special. Of course, this is pre-COVID, months ago. And so she took issue and felt that she was experiencing racial and gender discrimination in the amount of money that Netflix was offering her in comparison to her male counterparts like Dave Chappelle and others. So she had asked everybody to boycott Netflix, and she got a lot of flack at that time. But I have to give props to Monique, to whatever the actual facts and people's views, okay? Because some people are arguing, well, yeah, but she's not selling out arenas right now and as hot and in demand as some of the others. But regardless of the fine points, we have to give Monique her respect that she had the courage to stand up against these major influential entertainment tycoons. She called Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey out. And again, you know, I don't know these people personally, so I can't speak in authority. But no matter who you are, no matter how much success you get, nobody's above being looked at with a fine-tooth comb. That are we all treating each other with equality and respect and equal opportunity? So the U.S. District Court has ruled that Monique has now presented enough evidence against Netflix to take the streaming powerhouse to trial for discrimination and racial bias. So this is an ongoing a case. So we'll keep you posted as this moves along in court. So now in other entertainment news, Mary J. Blige is set to star in a new series on the Starz network, premiering in September. Of course, I believe she was on towards the end on, it was either Power or Empire. Of course, Mary J. Blige, not only being an amazing singer, she's become quite accomplished actress. So we'll be interested in checking in on that. And Tyler Perry's The Oval Office has its season finale tonight. So they've been running a marathon of that. And another reality news, so heiress Paris Hilton, who we haven't heard from in a minute, she, of course, in the mid-2000s, she became quite the reality star when her and Kim Kardashian, of course this is before Kanye West, and a couple husbands ago, and proposals for both of them. So they were running the socialite scene, and then her and Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, Lionel Richie's daughter, they had a reality show together. And for a good 6-7 years, Paris was just all over People magazine and all the entertainment mags. And she's since kind of reinvented herself. For a while there, she was involved with her sister, Nikki Hilton, who has a a purse line and a lot of other merchandise. They were doing fashion things together. And then Paris released a CD. Then she evolved into DJing and actually has become quite an accomplished DJ through the years. And now she's about to release a new reality documentary on YouTube. So it was talking about some trauma that she had experienced during her teenage years in boarding school, but from the preview she hadn't really said what it was. So I guess that's going to be launching soon. And of course, this week marked the 25th anniversary of genre-creating, groundbreaking CD from Jill Scott. Her debut CD, Who Was Jill Scott, debuted this week in July of 2000. So, of course, that CD came out at the time when the Bad Boy sound was launched by Puffy, and either the music was very hypersexualized, and in the videos it was all women who were size 0 to 2, or it was very conservative music. You didn't really have music in the R&B lane that was infusing jazz and soul and elements of traditional R&B, which of course that created the neo soul genre. So at that time you had Erykah Badu, Indiana Marie, Maxwell, a little bit later Music Soul Child, Anthony Hamilton, and they all came out right around the same time. And of course, Jill Scott had her powerhouse vocals, and she was unique in the fact that she incorporated stories from her everyday life, growing up in Philadelphia. And at the time, everything was kind of glossy and Hollywood-esque in music, right? So, or it was a little more gritty for a street vibe. But Jill Scott, she was singing about sexuality, she was singing about romance, she was singing about an average day in her neighborhood and just depicting what you'd say, your normal everyday guy and girl loving on each other and moving through relationship issues and whatnot. And of course, she was also significant because her and Angie Stone, but we would say Jill Scott has been more successful than Angie Stone, but they were both important because they were of that era in the 90s and 2000s. They were the only two plus-size singers that was depicting women with good self-esteem, comfortable in their sexuality, and expressing themselves and their relationship wants and needs in a confident and empowering way, and empowering other women to have esteem, to know what they want, to not feel bad about going after it or expressing themselves. So Jill Scott really impacted the music industry, not only with her music, but also just the messages of self-esteem that just through her videos and her song content has delivered to women for decades. So we're going to be playing all Jill Scott, well, not all, but some of my favorites from this groundbreaking CD, Who Is Jill Scott. But we're going to jump into our first musical break. And when we come back, we also this past week lost two major icons from the civil rights movement, and lost two important leaders. And when we come back, we're going to pay tribute to Reverend C.T. Vivian and Senator John Lewis. And we'll be right back after this.
Looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for us in all the wrong faces. I'm always looking for lust when I'm wine drunk and faded. Looking for love, I think we should make it. 'Cause I've been feeling lonely. Hold me, tell me that you think I'm pretty. Show me how to love and then show me how to love again. I was once told I'm too young to settle, but age ain't a thing, I'm just too sentimental. Looking for someone to write all the words to my instrumental. And if I give you my heart, promise you'll be gentle. 'Cause I've been lonely. Hold me, tell me that you think I'm pretty. Show me how to love and then show me how to love again. 'Cause I've been feeling lonely. Hold me, tell me that you think I'm pretty. Show me how to love and then show me how to love again. Love me, love, 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 love,
say, so I guess I'll start by saying that I love you, but you know this thing ain't been no walk in the park for us. I swear it'll only take a minute, you'll understand when I finish, yeah. And I don't wanna see you cry, but I don't wanna be the one to tell you a lie. So how do you let it go when you just don't know what's on the other side of the door when you walking out? Talk about everything I tried to remember to say just went out my head. So I'ma do the best I can to get you to understand. 'Cause I know, yeah, say goodbye, but I gotta make the first move. 'Cause if I don't, you're gonna start hating me. 'Cause I really don't feel the way I once felt about you. Girl, it's not you, it's me. I gotta figure out what I need. Oh, there's never a right time to say goodbye, but we know that we gotta go our separate ways. And I know it's hard, but I gotta do it, and it's killing me. 'Cause it's never a right time to say goodbye. Your heart is breaking, and 1,000 times I find myself asking why am I taking so long to say this? But trust me, girl, I never meant to crush your world, and I never thought I would see the day we grow apart. And I wanna know, how do you let it go when you just don't know what's on the other side of the door when you walking out? Talk about, girl, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. We just can't go on pretending that we get along. Girl, how you not gonna see it? Say goodbye, but I gotta make the first move. 'Cause if I don't, you're gonna start hating me. 'Cause I really don't feel the way I once felt about you. Girl, it's not you,
apart, baby. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Listen to your heart, girl, you know we should be apart, baby. I just can't do it. And sometimes it makes me wanna cry. Do you hear me crying? Oh, 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 oh. There's never a right time to say goodbye. Oh yeah. You're gonna start hating me, baby. I really don't feel the way I once felt about you. Girl, it's not you, it's me. I can't figure out what I need about you and me. Time to say goodbye. Oh no, it ain't. No, that we gotta go separate ways. Yeah. I know it's hard, but I gotta do it, and it's killing me 'cause it's never a right time. Right time to say say goodbye, but I gotta make the first move, 'cause if I don't, you're gonna start hating me, 'cause I really don't feel the way I once felt about you. Girl, it's not you, it's me. I gotta figure out what I need. Oh, there's never a right time to say goodbye, but we know that we gotta go our separate ways. And I know it's hard, but I gotta do it, and it's killing me 'cause it's never a right time. Right time to say
just like a star across my sky, just like an angel off the page. You have appeared to my life. Feel like I'll never be the same. Just like a song in my heart, just like oil on my hands. Only to love you. Still I wonder why it is I don't argue like this with anyone but you. We do it all the time, blowing out my mind. You got this look I can't describe. You make me feel I'm alive when everything else is so fake. Without a doubt, you're on my side. Heaven has been away too long. Can't find the words to write this song. Oh, your love. Still I wonder why it is I don't argue like this with anyone but you. We do it all the time, blowing out my mind. Yeah. Na, 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 na. I have come to understand the way it is. It's not a secret anymore, 'cause we've been through that before. From tonight I know that you're the only one. I've been confused and in the dark. Now I understand. Yeah, yeah. I wonder why it is I don't argue like this with like a star across my sky, just like an angel off the page. You have appeared to my life. Feel like I'll never be the same, just like a song in my heart, just like oil on my hand.
And welcome back to Style and Empowerment Chat with Lauren Friends Radio. For all of our activists out here, here in the fight trying to make this world a better and more just place, we lost two very important leaders in the movement this week. So we're going to take this segment in the show to pay respect to. First, we're starting off with Reverend C.T. Vivian, who was Reverend Martin Luther King's field general, and he just passed away this week at the age of 95. So Reverend C.T. Vivian was an early civil rights organizer and field general for Reverend Martin Luther King at his Southern Christian Leadership Conference in the historic struggle for racial justice over 50 years ago. Reverend Vivian passed away in his home in Atlanta. So when the nation was in the grips of racial inequalities in the 1960s, Reverend Vivian was someone who was right at the forefront and center of the nonviolence on the front line of protests. He led passive protests through shrieking white mobs, and with discipline and endurance, he absorbed the blows of segregationists and complicit law officials across the South who were not in favor of racial equality laws and who were in support of segregation. Reverend Vivian was a Baptist minister and a member of Dr. King's inner circle of advisors. He was the national director of 85 local affiliate chapters of the SCLC from 1963 to 1966, directing protest activities and training in nonviolence, as well as coordinating voter registration and community development projects in Selma and Birmingham. So he was one of the six civil rights leaders who were pivotal in organizing the Selma voter march, as well as many of the other important and instrumental protest marches throughout the South in the 1960s. He also organized many sit-ins in Birmingham, Alabama, St. Augustine, Florida, Jackson, Mississippi, and many other segregated cities across the United States. He organized these sit-ins at lunch counters. He organized boycotts of businesses and marches that continued for months, raising the tensions that led to mass arrests of protesters who were pushing for the United States to initiate legislation that would start to disassemble the systematic racism that has been in place since our country's conception. Televised scenes of the marches attacked, showing footage of where the marchers were being attacked by police officers and firefighters with cattle prods, snarling dogs, fire hoses, and nightsticks, shocked the national conscience of the United States at the time. And it also legitimized the need in the 1960s for the civil rights movement, because your average suburbia person who was just thinking that this wasn't really something that was important or real, because it was how they were taught and the practices of the time, all these marches and the way in which the protesters were treated galvanized the nation, and it was a pivotal moment that would eventually lead to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which in that legislation says nonviolence is the only honorable way of dealing with social change, because if we are wrong, nobody gets hurt but us. And Mr. Vivian said in an address to civil rights workers that nonviolence is the way more people will participate in determining their own destinies than ever before. So, like his many followers, Reverend Vivian was arrested often and jailed and beaten. In 1961, at the end of a violence-plagued interracial freedom ride to Jackson, he was dispatched to prison, where he was beaten by guards. So Reverend Vivian was a pivotal soldier in the right for African Americans to be able to vote, and he partnered with all the Freedom Riders and organized them. Who, for those who don't know what the Freedom Riders are, many of them were college students, teenagers, young adults that would get in their cars from all around the world, the country rather, and would drive to the homes or gathering spots and pick up African Americans at that time who didn't drive or have access to driving, and they would drive them to the polls to make sure that, and they would walk into the polls with them and protect them, so that way they could vote without fear of violence or intimidation at the polls. After leaving Dr. King's staff, Mr. Vivian founded the Educational and Civil Rights Organization, lectured widely, and he promoted jobs for Black Chicagoans and wrote Black Power and the American Myth in 1970. It was an early assessment of civil rights and the movement. And he wrote, it was Martin Luther King who removed the black struggle from the economic realm and placed it in a moral and spiritual context. He wrote, it was on this plane that the movement first confronted the consciousness of the nation. So, Reverend Vivian won many awards. So some of which include in 1987, there's a 14-part PBS documentary on the civil rights era, which spotlighted C.T. Vivian, and he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the nation's highest honor, from President Barack Obama in 2013, and President Obama also referred to Reverend Vivian as one of the best speakers that he had ever heard. So we're going to take a brief musical break, and when we come back, we're going to pay tribute to the legacy of Senator John Lewis, who also was part of that 6 leaders in Dr. King's inner circle, who were the architects of the civil rights movement in the 1960s and up through today. So keep it locked into Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends, and we'll be right back after this.
Love rain down on me, down on me. 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 Met him on a Thursday, sunny afternoon, cumulus clouds, 84 degrees. He was brown, deep. Said he wanted to talk about my mission, listen to my past lives. Took me on long walks to places where butterflies rest easy. Talked about Moses and Mumia, reparations, blue colors, memories of shell-top Adidas. He was fresh, like summer peaches, sweet on my mind like block parties and penny candy. Us was nice and warm. No jacket, no umbrella, just warm. At night we would watch the stars and he would physically give me each and every one. I felt like cayenne pepper, red, hot, spicy. I felt dizzy and Sonia, heaven and miles between my thighs. Better than love, we made delicious. He, me, had me, he had me tongue-tied. I could hear his rhythm in my thoughts. I was his sharp, his horn section, his boom and his bip, and he was my love. Love rain down on me, down on me. The rain was falling and slowly and sweetly and stinging my eyes, and I could not see that he became my voodoo priest and I was his faithful concubine. Wide open, wide, loose like boughs after collard greens. The mistake was made. Love slipped from my lips, dripped down my chin and landed in his lap, and us became new. Now, me non-clairvoyant and in love made the coochie easy and the obvious invisible. The rain was falling and I couldn't see the season changing and the vibe slipping off its axis. Our beautiful melody became wildly staccato. The rain was falling and I could not see that I was to be plowed and sown and fertilized and left to drown in his sunny afternoon. Cumulus clouds, 84 degree melody. Love rain down on me, down on me. Love rain down on me, down on me. Wide open, wide loose, the mistake was made. Love slipped from my lips, dripped down my chin and landed in his lap, and us became new. Me not clairvoyant and in love made me the fool. You were never true. If you didn't want me, you should have let me know. All you did was make a mockery of something so incredible, beautiful. I honestly did love you so. Love rain down on me, down on me. Love rain down on me, love rain down on me.
let you go a long time ago. Now it's time to turn him loose. You're getting in my way. You're getting in the way of what I'm feeling. My feelings, you're getting in the way of my feelings. Sugar honey girl, fly, fly away. I've been a lady up till now, don't know how much more I can take. Queen shouldn't swing, if you know what I mean. But I'm about to take my rings off, get me some Vaseline. Chill and I mean it. You better back down before you get smacked down. You better chill. You better relax yourself. He's my man, girl. Nobody else has. You better back down before you get smacked down. You better chill. You better back down. You're getting in my way of what I'm feeling. You're getting in my way. You better back down. You're getting in my way. Everything is beautiful between me and him, and here come you and your big mouth talking about me, telling him that you've seen me up 24th Street with a muddy cat. But you know it's a lie. You keep lying to my man, girlfriend. I'm gonna take you out in the middle of the street and whoop your tail for all it's worth. $5.99 or something like that. You better back down before you get smacked down. You better chill. You better back down before you get smacked down. You better chill. You better back down before you get smacked down. You better chill. I ain't playing with you. You better back down before you get smacked down. You better chill. Oh, honey, why you got to be so mean? Don't you remember me? Oh, baby, baby. You and me, we built sandcastles in the Serengeti. Don't you remember me? You splashed my face with no water, daughter of the diaspora. You named me, claim me. Do you remember me? Do you remember me?
you got your first pair of sneaks? Oh, they are fat. Converse, I think. Do you? I remember you swore you were so big and bad. You walked around like your didn't sting. You can't meet everybody, but I was there, always been there. I remember that it did. It does now, I'm sure. It did. Oh, I remember you loving me. It was so beautiful, magical, wonderful. I remember loving you. So good, so good, so good. Do you remember me? I mean, for real. Don't you remember those days way back when we spoke Kiswahili? It was you and me. See, remember playing hide and go freak? I was that one you were born to seek, and I'm still here. Getting down, getting down, getting down, getting down, getting down, getting down. Oh yeah, for you, still. Getting down, getting down, getting down, getting down, getting down, getting down. Oh yeah.
And welcome back to Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Radio. Starting our, who is Jill Scott, throwback and bringing you some of my favorite cuts from that groundbreaking, influential CD. So now let's continue our tribute to the two iconic civil rights leaders that we just lost this week. Interesting, kind of crazy that we lost them both on the same day. So, Congressman John Robert Lewis passed away July 17th in Atlanta, Georgia. He was an American civil rights leader, a politician best known for his chairmanship of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and for leading the march that was halted by police violence on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama in 1965. A landmark event in the history of civil rights movement that became known as Bloody Sunday. Actually, in the 80s, U2 commemorated that occurrence in one of their big hit songs, Sunday, Bloody Sunday. Lewis was the son of an Alabama sharecropper. He attended segregated schools and was encouraged by his parents not to challenge the inequalities of the Jim Crow South. As a teenager, however, he was inspired by the courageous defiance of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. Of course, Rosa Parks spearheaded the bus boycott movement in the 1960s. In 1961, while participating in the Freedom Rides alongside Reverend King and Reverend Vivian, John Lewis challenged the segregation of southern interstate bus terminals. Lewis was beaten and arrested, an experience he would repeat often. In 1963, he was elected to replace Chuck McDew as the chairman of the SNCC, a position he held until 1966. In 1963, Lewis played a key role in the historic March on Washington. Lewis, though still in his early 20s, had already become a prominent figure, that he was considered one of the civil rights movement's big six leaders, along with Martin Luther King, James Farmer, Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkins, and Whitney Young. In 1964, Lewis headed the SNCC's efforts to register African American voters and organize communities in Mississippi during the Freedom Summer Project. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter put Lewis in charge of Action, the umbrella federal volunteer agency that included the Peace Corps and Volunteer Services to America. Lewis entered elective office as an Atlanta City Councilman in 1981, and in 1986 began representing a district that included Atlanta in the U.S. House of Representatives. In addition to numerous other honors that John Lewis received in his distinguished life, he was awarded the Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolent Peace Prize in 1975, the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award in 2001, and the National Association for Advancement of Colored Peoples medal in 2002. In 2011, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama. He wrote a series of 3 memoirs, Walking with the Wind in 1998, and the March Trilogy, released in 2013, 15, and 16. And then he also released a graphic novel series for young adults that was based on his experiences in the civil rights movement. The final installment in the series received numerous honors, including the National Book Award in 2016, as well as the Coretta Scott King Book Award in 2017. And the documentary John Lewis, Good Trouble, which was released in 2020, chronicles his life and career. So both of these honorable and courageous gentlemen led and inspired generations of Americans to stand up and fight for justice, freedom, and equality, not only under the law, but just in everyday human interaction. And we are still under current leadership here in the U.S., fighting for many of these same things. So we all must pick up the baton and continue the fight and be conscious and aware of how we treat one another, and not be selfish, and care about each other, and carry on the mission of courage and unity and peace laid out by Reverend King, C.T. Vivian, John Lewis, and all the other prolific and iconic civil rights leaders. So we're going to take another musical break, and when we come back, I'm very excited to welcome to the show the founder and president of Menzfit Inc., Rhonda Willingham, which is a nonprofit organization that changes the lives of families and communities by providing professional interview clothing, career and development, and financial literacy services, so we all can make a difference in everybody's lives every day in big and small ways. So we're going to jump back into another Jill Scott pocket, and we'll be right back after this.
Come on now. If you wanted to happen, baby, hold fast and believe. You can make it happen, baby. You can be where you please. All you gotta do is try, then try once again, then try a few more times, then try after then. When I was a little girl, raised on no Philly streets, I'd hear my people say, ghetto is all that be. But my mommy will hold me quietly and give me peace. She looked me in my eyes and she'd say to me, if you wanted to happen, baby, hold fast and believe. You can make it happen, baby. You can be where you please. All you gotta do is try, then try once again, then try a few more times, then try after then. As a teenager, I dreamed to see the world, but how could I do this? Me, a poor black girl. And just when my will was lost and all hope seemed set free, I remembered my mommy's face and her telling me, if you wanted to happen, baby, hold fast and believe. You can make it happen, baby. You can be where you please. All you gotta do is try, then try once again, then try a few more times, then try after that. Try, 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 try again. Try, 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 and try. Now as a grown woman, I still stumble and fall, but with a lot of faith and the same amount of effort, I can withstand it all. I've done seen some things now, yeah, and been a few places. I'm now enjoying the beautiful world and the many new faces. I say, if you wanted to happen, baby, hold fast and believe. You can make it happen, baby. You can be where you please. All you gotta do is try, then try once again, then try a few more times, then try after that. If you wanted to happen, baby, 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 if you
Be a sinner or a gentleman. He could be a preacher when your soul is down. He could be a lawyer on a witness stand, but I'll never love you like I can. He could be a stranger you gave a second glance. He could be a trophy of a one-night stand. He could have your humor, but I don't understand, 'cause I'll never love you like I can. Why are you looking down all the wrong road when mine is the heart and the soul to the soul? There may be lovers who hold out their hands, but I'll never love you like I can. I'll never love you like I can. A chance encounter of circumstance. Maybe he's a mantra, keeps your mind entranced. He could be the silence in this mayhem. like I can. Why are you looking down all the wrong road? Well, mine is the heart and the soul to the soul. There may be lovers who hold out their hands, but they'll never love you like I can. They'll never love you like I can. They'll never love you like I can. We both have demons that we can't stand. I love your demons like devils can. If you're self-seeking, an honest man, and stop deceiving, Lord, please. Why are you looking down all the wrong roads? Well, mine is the heart and the soul to the soul.
And welcome back to Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Radio. So I am so excited to welcome our next guest to the show. So please welcome Rhonda Willingham, who is the founder and president of Menzfit, Inc.
Hello, Laura. Great to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
It is wonderful to have you finally on the show.
Yes.
So we're going to get into the Menzfit organization shortly, but first I want to talk about just all the amazing accomplishments and ways that Rhonda Willingham has been helping the Philadelphia community for decades, even prior to founding the Menzfit organization. So you were the first runner-up for the Madam C.J. Walker Award, so that's quite exciting.
Yeah, I was very honored about that.
And you were also awarded the Woman of Excellence by WDAS-FM and Patty Jackson.
Yes, that was very exciting as well, especially since that was the first year they did it. So it was nice to be upon the other honorees as a catalyst for that awards luncheon.
Yes, and that particular luncheon recognizes women from the worlds of entertainment, politics, charity. Every year, some of the past winners have included Jill Scott, Eve, and many notable broadcasters in the Philadelphia area. So, something to be very proud of, to be in the chapters of the books of all these great women.
Absolutely.
Now, you also received recognition in 2012 from First Lady Michelle Obama.
Yeah, well, actually, it was from Essence Magazine.
Okay.
Essence Magazine was doing sort of honoring Day of Service with the First Lady, and so they wanted to recognize a couple of African American women in the D.C. area who had nonprofits, and so I was selected.
Well, that's quite exciting. So, did you get to meet Mrs. Obama?
No, I did not get to meet her. She actually wasn't able to make the event, but there were people from her staff and so forth that were there that we had an opportunity to chat with and network with.
Well, that's beyond exciting.
Very. And I was very surprised about the acknowledgement, so yeah, it was wonderful.
So you are a woman who inspires many. Can you talk to our listeners about some of the women who have and do inspire you in your life?
Yeah, sure. So obviously Michelle Obama is one.
Yes.
Person who, she is just phenomenal in her own right, absolutely First Lady. But then there are just some local heroes, some folks that have crossed my path over my, work experience and college days that have not only influenced me in terms of my work, but just being solid individuals, people who you just kind of respect and look up to. So yeah, I don't know if you want me to name names, but
yeah, sure.
I don't want to miss anyone.
Okay.
I don't want to miss anyone. So
I understand.
maybe I won't do that. I don't want to miss anyone. But,
It's like when actors accept their Oscar, and then I can't believe they forgot to mention their wife, or I can't make.
exactly. Especially women who I've already told that they do inspire me. I don't want to offend anybody.
Right?
They know who they are.
Yes. So now you originally started out in a career with PR. So can you talk to us a little bit about that and how you segued into starting your own charity?
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I had the opportunity to move to Washington, D.C., and ended up staying and living there for about 18 years because I had been offered a job opportunity in the Clinton War administration. And so my background is in public affairs work, and so I was a special assistant at the Department of Labor, and I worked around issues related to employment training, workers' compensation, and so forth. And as a result of that, I ended up going back to school to get my master's from American University in journalism and communications, and was also volunteering at an organization similar to Menzfit but for women, and just kind of asked them, was there any types of services in the area like that benefited men? So to their knowledge, it wasn't. And I just got out on the internet and did some due diligence and saw that there were very few organizations, one, that focused on men, and two, there were no organizations doing the kind of work that Menzfit does today for men at that time in the area. So I just pulled together a group of guys who I respected, valued their opinion, and ran the concept by them. They thought it was a great idea, and to date, they're still on board, literally, as founding board members.
Fantastic.
And we put together our spheres of influence and began to dialogue with those folks, and opened up in D.C. And
Now,
my vision.
Now, when you were working in the Clinton administration on the Board of Labor, what was like an average day with that of things that you do that would fall on your plate, and the process of things coming from idea to execution within your realm of responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, well, as it relates to government, in particular in the political climate, when you're a political appointee versus being a civil servant, it's a little different. Obviously, you work at the pleasure as secretary, because I was at the Department of Labor.
Right.
The secretary has that cabinet position, but in the, obviously the secretary works at the pleasure of the president. So, it's always, I should say it's always the crisis, but there is always something going on. Like, you always need to be prepared. I mean, I clearly worked way more than 8 hours a day.
Right.
Traveled a lot. But, whenever something arose, there was an issue that needed to be, vetted or anything like that, then, you had to begin to do that. You had to reach out to different folks, make sure the information was factual, correct. Because, I mean, the implication, if you did that, you might have some misinformation, and you clearly didn't want any of the assistant secretaries or the secretaries, operating with bad information. So,
Right, of course.
Yeah, a lot of vetting, and you got an opportunity to work with, even though you were political, you got an opportunity to work with civil servants there, which, they are your friends. So you definitely want to be able to have good relationships with people that will be there long after your stint is over.
Right, exactly. And I imagine, though, it did come with a certain level of pressure. Working in the Department of Labor and under the secretary and indirectly with the current president.
Well, not the current president.
Well, at the time. I'm sorry. Yes, at the time. Yes. I'm still squinting my eyes and blinking and pretending I'm just in a bad dream that I'm going to wake up from, and that the current person that we call president just doesn't exist anymore. Okay. but that's a whole nother show.
Right.
But yes. But back at the time when we had people in the office who actually had experience in leadership and knew the Constitution. When you were working under President Clinton at the time, I would imagine that it's a whole nother level of pressure, as you were saying, to make sure that you were accurate, that you were meeting your deadlines and really crossing your T's, because it's a greater level of accountability when you're working under an administration than just, say, a regular business.
Yeah, well, one, because you're affecting policy.
Yes.
Policy is affected, so absolutely. And then, the other thing that I don't know if many people know this, I mean, the average political appointee is only there for 18 months.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because of the level of pressure. And depending on where you are in the scale of political appointee, there's 3 different levels of that. So you got the Schedule C, the PA, and the CAS. So
right.
Obviously, PAS requires Senate confirmation. And so that's a different level of pressure. And then PAs are just presidential appointees that don't require Senate confirmation. And they typically are like your deputy assistant secretary, stuff like that. And then there's the folks that we call the worker bees in the administration, the Schedule C appointees, which are, could be a chief of staff, it could be a special assistant, it could be a staff assistant, and so forth. So each level of that, obviously, there's a level of pressure. I don't think you get around that.
Yeah.
But you just have to know that your time sometimes is not your own.
Exactly. And what is the confirmation process? What does that kind of look like, just for people who are going to be working in the White House?
Well, I mean, some White House officials do require, I don't know that everybody in the White House requires a Senate confirmation.
Right.
The chief of staff does. But in terms of, I don't really know the specific details of CAS in terms of, other than the Senate being required to
sign off,
confirm you and finalize your authorization. For anybody other than that, it's a significant background check that goes on for that.
So it's like the biggest job reference check you could have ever imagined.
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
So I imagine, like you were saying, that working in that high pressure environment where you are directly in your own way affecting policy, that it must have been hard not to kind of take the job home with you, especially I'm sure you were called upon at all different kinds of times off the clock if things were urgent or time sensitive.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's par for the course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to be diligent and recognize that, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And,
yep.
You want to do your best while you're there, and then sort of, take that experience and knowledge and context and move forward in the next chapter of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I tried to do. But I also was going to grad school, too. I signed up for grad school while I was working there. So, and I'm glad I did that at the time. Like, I can't even see myself trying to go back to school at this point in my life. But,
right.
So, when you're younger, you have more energy. So,
exactly.
Right. So it worked out for me.
So now, of course, we're all about empowerment here on the show, and empowerment comes from knowledge and resources and increasing your options for education, equity, and just job choices. So Menzfit, which you founded in 2001, is all about those things. So can you talk to our listeners a bit about the educational and financial assistance that your organization provides the people that it helps?
Well, yeah, I mean, so, Menzfit, our mission is that we change lives, families, and communities, and, we deal with men specifically, and even specifically minority men, black and brown folks. And, when we first got started back in 2001, all we did was so we just with the sort of the outward look, the professional clothing piece. And then, we sort of went back to the table amongst the board and actually amongst feedback from our clients and decided that there was more that we could do. And so then we sort of introduced our career development workshop series, which really focused on business communication, diversity in the workplace, attitude, mock interview tips and techniques, those kinds of things that just kind of gives them an extra hand up as they embark on their, employment journey. So since that time, I mean, obviously, we opened in Philadelphia in June of 2007, so we're actually celebrating our 13th year anniversary this year. This past month, June, was our anniversary. So
happy anniversary!
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're excited about that. We've been rolling out some new stuff with that. And so to your question around the whole empowerment and workshop piece, we sort of tweaked our career development workshop piece, and now we call it the work in progress, pathways to employment. And we really, a lot of our clients, about 70% of our clients are coming home from prison. So we wanted to, again, figure out how do we best help them really get out and get back to some sense of normalcy for them. And so this program allows us to do that. In that we've added more workshops with issues that really, not that they don't face the other clients that we see, but they really have an impact on these guys. So, for example, mental health. Mental health is a big deal in our country. It's one of the, one or two major topics that's a national issue now. So mental health for the guy coming out of prison is huge. And we did that based on feedback from them. And then we've added, effective networking. How important is it to network? I mean, you and I know, Laura, that networking is the key to moving forward, personally and professionally.
Yep.
So we've added that component. We've got public speaking. We've got an entrepreneurial class now. We focus on mental health. And that's not just exercise, it's diet, nutrition, it's those sorts of things.
Lifestyle choices.
Yeah, and so, part of what we want to make sure that we're encompassing all of those sort of components that they would need, that we all need to sort of continue to move forward in whatever it is that we want to do.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have the financial literacy piece, which, we cover any from soup to nuts, from how to open a checking account, to understanding the differences between a savings account and a money market account, to understanding your credit, to buying a home for investment. So we have clients on a full scale. So some of our clients, they may need, sort of the basics. So we have clients now that have been through our program who are part of, our successful stories down there, either buying a house or looking towards investment. So we want to make sure that, our program is inclusive of all of the sort of components that everybody may want to see based on where they are in their life.
Oh, well, that's really fantastic, because these are things that maybe not all schools teach, or, and then too, laws and practices change every couple of years, and you could have resources that are available for you that you don't know about because you haven't been exposed to somebody who could tell you and break it down, so you know not only what's available but how to utilize it.
Exactly. And one of the things that I think differentiates, I know that there are tons or other organizations that have career development programs and do a very good job of it. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that our workshop series, my guys are family today. Everybody operates in a family style. So we want to make sure that everybody in the family succeeds. And so one of the ways that, I wanted to really sort of expose that was to come up with some sort of auxiliary group for clients that have come through our program and are doing well and are working. And so we developed that, and it's called the Professional Menzfit Group.
Oh, great.
And so that group is comprised of all of our successful clients that are doing very, very well. Now, I've empowered them to now go out, each one teach one, help others and they hold their own workshops. We met the other day in a social distancing setting
Right.
with the leadership, and they're going to be hosting some webinars twice a month.
Oh, that's
next
fantastic.
month. Right, on different issues. We had one new guy that came in to the meeting the other day that was part of our prison pilot that we wrapped up in February, right before everything got shut down for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're excited about him. He's out now. He's got a couple of interviews lined up. He was very excited to be a part of the group. The guys are now taking him in, mentoring him, letting him know that they are resourced if he needs to talk about anything or he needs assistance with anything. That's what that group is really, really designed to do. So I'm excited about that. They're doing fantastic work, and just stay tuned because you're going to be hearing more about the DMG across the social media.
Well, that's fantastic. As you know, I'm someone who's not only out talking about the issues, but digging in and trying to find ways to fix the issues. So I definitely would be interested in doing some workshops and helping as a work of your organization and bringing some of my network to help the men that you're trying to help and are helping.
Yeah, that would be great. We welcome any and all support and assistance, so that we're all in this together.
Exactly.
That's our new campaign, face it, we're all in this together. So, I appreciate the support, and obviously we can continue to keep the dialogue open and with that.
So now, statistically, you have helped over 6,500 men. I think that's probably a conservative estimate in the Philadelphia area, and through that support helped to bring fiscal support to the economy of Philadelphia.
Yeah, and actually that number combines Washington and Philadelphia.
Okay.
So if we just take DC out of the mix for a minute and just focus on Philly, then we're almost at 1,500 men over the last 13 years.
Fantastic.
And out of that, we're at about 51 to 52% of them remain employed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not bad, given that we've had a bad economy.
Exactly.
Up and down with the economy. So we're pretty hopeful, and that we really could see more people with that, but it's just based on our resources, our human resources, to be able to manage that process.
Now, do you have specific companies and organizations that you partner with job placement, or do you just kind of help them search for jobs, or randomly, or both?
Okay, so initially neither.
Okay.
We typically don't find the gentleman, a job. When they come to us, we partner with a little over 70 organizations in Philadelphia, and they are reentry programs, they're career development sites, career one-stop, homeless shelters, veterans organizations, mental and substance abuse programs, job training programs. Those are the organizations that send the guy to us when that guy is what we call job ready or in the interview process. So he's completed a certain level of skills training, and now either has a scheduled interview or he's got some interviews coming up, and that's what refers to us with what we call the finishing touches initially.
Yes.
The suiting process. So we suit them up, get them ready, and all that, and then we introduce them to our WIP program, which is the program we talked about a little earlier.
Mm-hmm. Now,
now, what I will say is, because our pilot that we did with FBI Phoenix, formerly Greater Prison, we've done some tweak that a little bit differently with those guys. We are assisting in some capacity with finding job opportunities for them.
Now, you also then, of course, you just mentioned one of the big parts that Menzfit does is actually providing the men with clothing. So you have a store located in Philadelphia. So can you talk to us a little bit about the store and how men go about utilizing the resources?
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that have changed as a result of COVID in terms of our numbers and how.
Of course.
And how we interact with our clients. But yeah, we have an office space in Center City, and part of our office space is set up like an upscale men's store. So when you walk in there, you'll feel like you're in a bookstore. And it's by design. You know, we want them to feel like they're getting a hand up, not a handout.
Exactly.
So, you know, it looks very professional. They come in, you know, we assist them with their clothing selection. We wrap everything in tissue paper. They get a nice garment bed, a nice hanger. You know, we make them feel like they're really shopping, but they just don't have to pay for it. One of the things that we aren't able to do as a result of COVID that we have been doing is we can't do sort of our, like a good handshake, all the social skills
right.
that we would do it. We can't do that right now just because of social distancing. So, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
What we have provided is some literature, some literature to them that they can take home and review themselves regarding how to, you know, do certain things. So we're excited about that. Yeah, our shop is great, and now we're at a point where we can offer every guy that comes to our door a week's worth of clothing.
Fantastic.
And that's because of our partnership with Damari Seville, Malcolm Jenkins, who has been just a wonderful partner over the last 3 years. And so we're excited that we can, you know, give men not only one week, but now a complete week's worth of clothing.
Awesome. Now, if any of our listeners, over time, want to donate some clothing to the Menzfit organization, how do they go about doing that?
Okay, so at the moment, we are not in need of any suits.
Okay.
Unless they are 46 long and above, or 40 regular and below.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, what we really need are accessory items. We always need shoes.
Okay.
That are in good condition. We always need belts, new socks only,
Okay.
ties, and cufflinks.
Okay.
So accessory items in particular, we need a lot of.
Okay. Well, I myself do have some of that I'll be able to over time send your way. So now you also had mentioned before that you have a new fundraising initiative going on right now.
Yeah, we have our what we call our donor pledge monthly campaign, where our goal is to raise $12,500 per month, and so we're asking 2,500 people just to donate and commit to $5 donation per month to help us meet our goals. And that money will go towards our operations, it'll go towards our services, and we're just hopeful that people will, you know, we have had a good response to it, but we're not at our goal yet. So the campaign is still going. And if people are interested in donating, they can just go right to our website at menzfit.org and click the donate button and go from there.
Hey, look, that's about what it costs to buy one cup of Starbucks. So $5.
Exactly.
$5 a month, and you're helping to empower another person and feel confident and put a good step forward, and eventually help the economy as well, help families. It doesn't sound like that much of a sacrifice to me.
Right. We feel the same way. That's why we made it $5, because we figured $5 is a need for most people.
Exactly.
It wasn't going to break the bank.
That's just one less fast food stop, one less cup of coffee.
Right. Or two beers.
Exactly, two beers, right. I couldn't say a cocktail here in Philly. You're lucky if you could get a cocktail under $8.
No, you can't get a cocktail, you can't get a glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, it's crazy. A lot of these cocktails here in Philly start at $12. I remember when you could get a cocktail for $3 and some cents. I was thinking, did they start putting gold in the alcohol? like the prices keep going up and everything's staying the same.
Yeah, times have clearly changed.
Us. So now, if people want to donate or become a sponsor or just help your organization in any way, what's the best way to do that?
Well, they can email us at info@menzfit.org.
Okay. And sometimes, it's hard to ask for help. And to feel empowered enough to ask. So could you talk to some of our male listeners and just give them some encouragement about asking for help when they need it and seeking out resources?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, sometimes it's difficult. I think that's why it hasn't been that many organizations that focus on men in this capacity, because sometimes it's difficult for men to actually ask for help. They're supposed to always be strong and so forth and not sort of show any fear. But the reality is that, one, we are all in this together, and we need help. And when we need help, we should ask for help. So I would encourage anyone who needs assistance, whether it be from Menzfit or any other group, to just get all the information you can and reach out and connect with people.
Mm-hmm. And I think mentors, if you're able to get a partner with one, mentors are so important.
Absolutely. I mean, mentors. I mean, that's really what our PNC group was founded on.
Mm-hmm.
Was founded on that essence of being a mentor and helping someone else. Each one. Someone helps you and so forth. You pay it forward, and you bring and lift someone else up.
Nice. Well, Rhonda, you are and do and continue to help so many men in our community, and you inspire many people, including myself.
Thank you, Laura.
And I feel just picking up on some of the things that you've said in the interview. It's so important for like-minded and positive people to find each other and just bring your ideas together to just create more positive impact through their nets. Now, of all the recognition and things that you've accomplished, what are some of the things, I'm sure you can list many, but what are some of the things that you're just most proud of and that you find the most rewarding through all the community work that you do?
That's a pretty simple answer for me. It's the success of my guys.
Yeah.
When the clients call back, or they send a card, or they show up to our door and just say, "Miss Willingham, I got the job," or "Miss Willingham, guess what? I'm getting ready to buy a house," or you helped me so much reconnect with my family or my children. At the end of the day, that's thanks enough for me.
Well, in a day where we were previously paying tribute to some of the greats of the civil rights movement that we sadly lost this past week, we talk a lot about on the show, as you were saying, each one teach one, and that all of us have the power to make an impact in someone's life in a positive way, big and small. Whether we own a charity or not, we can all be charitable to one another every day.
Correct. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And such a loss, John Lewis. Such a loss to civil rights and human rights.
Yes. Well, I think.
Icon.
And just not only did they both change so much, but inspired so many to get in and stay in the fight for justice and freedom and equality and humanity.
Right, I agree. Yeah.
So
You gotta keep it going.
exactly. It's up to all of us just to keep carrying the flag and just being aware of how we treat one another, what we do and don't tolerate for ourselves and the people around us.
Absolutely. The
It's
fight must go on
yes.
until justice is fully served.
Yes. So now, where can people find you on social media?
Yes, so we are on all social media. We are on Facebook, Menzfit. With Menzfit on all of our social media. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. So, men, if you're listening, if you're in need of help and resources, or someone in your family or social circle is in need of career services, please don't hesitate to reach out to Rhonda Willingham and the Menzfit organization, and also show fiscal support and just network support, so we can continue to broaden the net of help and support for the men in our community. So we're going to jump into another musical break. So Rhonda, I thank you not only for calling into the show today, but just for all the way you are touching the lives and families of all the men in Philadelphia, and just empowering through all the resources that you're bringing to our community.
Well, thank you so much, Laura, and thank you so much for having me on the show to really talk about the good work that we're doing and the impact that we are having in the community.
Fantastic. Well, have a fantastic day, and I'll be in touch soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
The heart is a bloom, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you can lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. The sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road, but you got no destination in the mud. In the maze of her imagination, your love is down. Even if that doesn't ring true, you've been all over, and it's been all over you. It's a beautiful day. So let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Touch me, take me to that other place. Teach me, I know I'm not a hopeless case. See the world in green and blue. See China right in front of you. See the canyons broken by cloud. See the tuna fleets clearing the sea out. See the bedroom fires at night. See the oil fields at first light. And see the bird with a leaf in her mouth. After the flood, all the colors came out. It was a beautiful day. So let it get away. Beautiful day. told the true definition of a man was to never cry. Work till you're tired, got to provide. Always be the rock for my fam, protect them by all means, and give you the things that you need, baby. Our relationship is suffering, trying to give you what I never had. You say I don't know how to love you, babe. Well, I say show me the way. I keep my feelings deep inside, I channel them with my pride. I'm trying desperately, baby, just work with me. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Yeah. Teach me how to love. Yeah. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me, show me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me how to love. I was always taught to be strong. Never let them think you care at all. Let no one get close to me before you and me. I done shared things with you, girl, about my past that I'd never tell to anyone else. Just keep it to myself. Girl, I know I lack affection and expressing my feelings. It took me a minute to come and admit this, but see, I'm really trying to change now. Wanna love you better, show me how. I'm trying desperately, baby, please work with me. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Yeah. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me. Show me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me how to love. Ain't nobody ever took the time to try to teach me what love was but you. And I ain't never trust no one enough to let him tell me what to do. Teach me how to really show it and show me how to really love you, baby. Teach me, please just show me, yeah. 'Cause I'm willing to let go of my fears, girl, I'm serious about all that I said. Girl, I wanna love you with all of my heart. Baby, show me where to start. Teach me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved. Teach me, show me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. Yeah. How I can get my emotions involved. Teach me how to love. Teach me how to love you, baby. Girl, just teach me how to love you better. No, I wanna love you better, girl. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Out on one of my favorite house songs by Ally Us, Follow Me. So I hope that this afternoon that we leave you with inspiration and empowerment to make a difference in your own lane, in your own life, and making a difference in the lives of others. So we are so excited. Next week, we are going to be welcoming to the show one of my influences in broadcasting, award-winning Philadelphia iconic reporter from formerly of Channel 6 WPVI for over 25 years, Lisa Thomas Laurie. So we will be discussing her book, Off the Camera, which is her memoir, and we'll be talking about her accomplished career in broadcasting and just all the amazing things that she has done through her career to inspire women across the board. So keep it locked in to Style and Empowerment Chat. We'll be back next week. Remember, every day is a day to make a difference and walk closer to your dreams and your purpose. You can follow me on the Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Facebook page, and like and follow me on Instagram at the Laura Mazurek. So keep walking in positivity and purpose, and we'll be back next week with more inspiration, great feel-good music, interviews, and topics.
Count.
1, 2,
3, 4.
Prejudice. No. Ignorance. No. Bigotry. No. Illiteracy. No.
Count.
1, 2,
3, 4.
Prejudice. No. Ignorance. No. Bigotry. No. Illiteracy. No. Count.
2, 3.